All right, everybody, we're transferring over to Yvonne's testimonial segment of the recording. So, Yvonne, I'm so curious to know, how did you come across Authors on Mission? Why did you choose our services, and how was your experience?
And I actually don't remember if I received a phone call from somebody or it was an email they come to me. I'll have to kind of look at it. But either way, I'm not like, being cold call or something like that. I'm usually not very open to that. But this time around was something that caught my mind, and a person, I wish I can remember his name, initially connected. Can certainly find it for you. But, when he talked to me, it just kind of became, wow, this is very interesting. And I was just like about a year on into writing my book. And they said, well, we have these services, to help you out. And then I also talked like about some friends, who trying to write a book, but they were getting like, just assistance in writing. But this was like actually a complete solution. It's not just assistance in writing. It's about like, assistant, like, publishing, writing, putting it out there. Like I said, wow, this is great. And quickly from there, like they gave me a proposal. I was like, well, this is a really, really good deal comparing what I heard like from other people. And I was on like, and what happened, so like this first year when I was writing was so really a struggle. But then once we got like, I was got working, with first with Joe Rust, and Joe was just incredible. Like, she really kind of helped me, like move me along, like and hold my hands, like in that way. And we got in about 4 months, we actually wrapped up since we started working together in 4 months, we just wrapped the whole manuscript. So I had a year working on this, and I was maybe like 1/3 through it. And then we had a 4 months, where I actually completed about more than 60% of the book. So, but, yeah, I mean, I heard of them, I think it was like just a cold call, a cold call or some email that I reacted to.
Absolutely. Well, I'm glad that those services worked well. And you're right, Joe is magnificent. So, I'm curious to know, I mean, were you satisfied with the process overall? And what are your future plans for using the book?
Yeah, I'm definitely satisfied with the process. I think I'm still in the process. I'm still working with you guys, podcasts, and we are still finishing the audio version of the book. We almost done, and I was really pleased, how everything is organized and processed, and how you get, move from working with one person to the other person, but then a person that you worked before, they're still kind of in touch with you in the whole transition, the process, and then they come in play again when needed in different stages of production, from the time with the first manuscripts is go through initial editing, to proofreading, and then to actually like publishing, to everything, putting like the marketing script together, to putting the biography together, to putting all of these different pieces. Yeah, I think it was well guided, all the way through the end till we published the book. And we also, like in my case, went to get the book published on my birthday, and then they accomplished that. Well, actually, there was a three editions of the book. There was like a Kindle soft and a hard copy, and so over those 3 days, middle day of that being my birthday, all three copies came out. So there was a 13, 14, and 15. And on 13, they had like a first, I think it was a Kindle edition. 14, they had a soft copy. And on 15, they had a hard copy. So it kind of all came together like very cool, So I was really excited about it.
I'm so glad to hear, and they stayed on deadline, and that, it's kind of a nice, one after another approach. That's beautiful. So yeah, I thank you so much for leaving the testimonial, and I hope that everybody listening was able to get a good idea for Yvonne's experience and his future plans with it. So thank you so much.